Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon for this week's Inside Pitch, talking Cardinals baseball. And Gordo, I'll start with a question. Has there ever been this much angst and anger after a series win? Believe it or not, the Cardinals did beat the Diamondbacks in a series, although I don't know that many people noticed, perhaps rightfully so. Prize slugger Jordan Walker has been sent down again a second consecutive year for a minor league refresh. One of the one loss the Cardinals had was by a football score, and there they are in last place in the division. A Steven Matz blow-up was in there as well. The natives are restless. It's hard to blame them, Gordo. Not a lot of people going to the ballpark. Some people holding off on this team, and it's starting to show up in the seats, in the announced attendance even. What do you make of where the Cardinals are right now, and what do they have to do to kind of get everybody fired up about this season?
Well, one thing that I kept coming back to in the winter was fans should quit worrying about this team's inability to go deep in the playoffs and start focusing on getting out of last place, which is where they were last year. And obviously getting out of last place remains the bigger concern. You know, there's just so much to look at. I guess if you're looking for the most concerning thing is with all the injuries that have occurred, you needed Jordan Walker to play well, to perform, take that step. Pretty good player last year, has a chance to be a great player. Mason Wynn makes all the adjustments, takes off. That's a real positive. Boy, his failure and then what it does to this team against left-handed pitching and the uncertainty of what it does for him right now in his career, at this career point, that's got to be the number one concern. Among all the other things they've got to do, they've got to get him going.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the way this team is built, and it's unique. You've got old, proven veterans, and you've got hopeful, young guys that you're excited about but haven't done much. And unfortunately, so much of the Cardinals season has been the proven part underperforming. You know, your Paul Goldschmidts and your Nolan Arenado, who's hitting for average but not for power yet. And then your young guys look a little overmatched. And that's a team that's going to have a hard time finding that traction. The good news is the guys they brought in to pitch, the new old guys, have pitched pretty well. It's the guys that they've had here that they trusted in to bounce back that aren't exactly doing it. Miles Michaelis has struggled at times. Steven Matz is starting to regress a little bit. And it's hard to look at this and say, man, they're playing a little bit better defense. Their pitching is improved. The one thing that I think they kind of thought would be there, the offense, that wasn't a big question mark, it's been what's been letting them down more times than not.
Yeah, you're really vulnerable now with Dylan Carlson still out. You're hoping he could give you something at least on the right side of the plate. Same for Tommy Edman. With those two guys out, you're super vulnerable against left-handed pitching. Victor Scott couldn't get it done. Michael Ciani's not really a guy you want every day in there. And again,
well, he is because he's your best center fielder.
Right. Well,
and the one thing they did last year was bail on their commitment to defense, and look, it didn't help them. It helped tear their season apart. So I feel like if they're not going to hit, they might as well get good center field defense.
Well, it's true, and that is good. But we have this situation where you've got a dead spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
All these other things going on. Getting back to the list of disappointments, I do have to stress
go on, please.
Steven Matz he pitches so well, and then when it goes, it goes. He's a veteran guy. He's got to figure out how to get himself through games, and when things start to go, he's got to stop the bleeding. It turns into a gusher out there. You can't get out there in time.
It's an avalanche, and that's who he's been. There's one exception in Toronto, and that's who the Cardinals hoped he could be. And I don't know if that's going to get fixed. I think it's more about, do you get him in the right role? And maybe we can wrap it up there. The one thing the Cardinals would not hear this offseason was potentially turning Matz into a reliever and signing an additional starter. They wanted no piece of that. I do wonder what this season might have looked like if Jordan Montgomery's here, Steven Matz is in the bullpen. Would they look like a more competitive team? But pitching's not the big problem. Yeah. Gordo, the offense is the problem. These guys got to hit, and here's the deal. They got to hit home runs. The guys who are paid to put the ball over the wall have to do it. The pitchers they got to stop allowing them, but the hitters got to hit home runs. It really is as simple as that. We'll see if they can find some on the road trip. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. Keep it locked at stltoday.com for all of your Cardinals coverage, and we'll talk to you next time.